Our guest on This is America in the World is Brazil's ambassador to the United States, Luiz Alberto Figueiredo Machado. Before being posted in Washington, the ambassador served as Brazil's foreign minister and previously served as Brazil's permanent representative to the United Nations in New York. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Brazil. What should we know about Brazil?
Well, lots of things, but let me mention three. One is we are half of South America in terms of size and population. We are the only country in that region that speaks Portuguese.
Yeah.
And we are the seventh economy in the world. So these are three elements of what we are, but we have much more than that.
But that's quite a picture you paint for us right from the get-go. It would be wrong of me as a journalist, as an interviewer, not to bring up the virus right at this time. What do we know? What is the government doing? What do we know? What do we not know about the Zika virus?
Well, it is indeed a problem. In my country, we declared a national emergency. Before the WHO did that on the 1st of February, President Dilma Rousseff called President Obama about that, and they talked on the 29th of January. So, they agreed to step up a joint work on ways of fighting that challenge. So, we are putting 220,000 troops to combat the spread of the mosquito. As everybody knows, the mosquito is the vector. And we have on top of that 300,000 health personnel that is traveling the country to find where the problem is. So we are being extremely serious about our response to that challenge.
Spreading throughout not only most of the countries in Latin America and the Caribbean as well.
That's true.
Huh?
That's true. That's true. It is now a global situation.
Does anybody know, from whence it came or how it started to break out in Brazil?
Well, I am not a doctor, so
Yeah.
so I really don't know. Actually, researchers are looking into several aspects about that, and certainly this is one of the aspects being perused, but also, of course, research on vaccines and things like that.
I saw a little clip on the news, I think, within the last 24, 48 hours, maybe, of a mother and father bringing a young child. So there appears to be a link between the virus and birth defects amongst youngsters. That has to break your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. There seems to be, again, I am not a doctor, but there seems to be a connection between the infection by this virus and birth defects. So it is really something that we are very concerned about.
So if the State Department and such issues some kind of a travel advisory that pregnant women should not be in that part of the world, that's a tremendous impact against, not against, that's not a good word, tremendous impact with your country, huh?
Well, it is not my country. It is, now, unfortunately, many countries. And as I said, the World Health Organization now declared it yesterday a global problem. So because it is now in many countries, it is the soon we respond to that, the better, and we are doing that.
Yeah, I was thinking of problems at home. At home, I mean Brazil. You know, with the economy and with now the virus, some investigations, and I'm going to say to myself, do you have a chance to get a good night's sleep?
Absolutely, absolutely. I tell you, well, on the economy, well, you have to see the big picture. Right after the crisis of 2008, which was a global crisis, we actually did very well at that time, because the government took a number of measures that helped us to grow at very high rates, even during that time. Now, the government has to put in place different kinds of measures that would help us to cope with what you have now, and we all see the international scene in terms of the global economy. So it is difficult, but we are doing it. Some fiscal adjustments and all economic measures that we feel are adequate are being taken.
Let us take a little break, Mr. Ambassador, and I'm going to take a long shot at pronouncing your name correctly. Easy to say, Luiz Alberto,
That's
correct?
Fine. Figueiredo.
Yes. Machado.
Machado is fine.
I was in there someplace, wasn't I?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's great.
We're talking with the ambassador from Brazil to the United States. We're thrilled to have him here. Lots to talk about. A huge country, and of course, you know, coming up in the not too distant future, the Olympics are going to be there. So sit tight on the other side. This is America and the World. This is America and the World is brought to you by the National Education Association, the U.S.-China Education Trust, and F.Y. Chang Foundation, guided by Ambassador Julia Chang Block, President. The League of Arab States, representing 350 million people in 22 member countries. Japan, history, hospitality, and advanced technology. Sharing tomorrow. Tourism, Malaysia. The Petroleum Group, expertise with integrity in the fields of oil and gas, exploration and production, energy, and infrastructure. The Rotondaro Family Trust. The Embassy Series, uniting people through musical diplomacy, presenting international artists in diplomatic settings. And Ventana Productions, television facilities, editing, and distribution services. Mr. Ambassador, as you said right at the beginning, it is a huge country. Tell us a little bit about the geography, the topography, urban, rural. Just give us the overview.
Well, obviously, like in this country, when the Europeans came in the beginning of the 16th century, they colonized all the littoral. They built ports, basically, harbors, and they found that it was a very good place for gold, diamonds at that time, and also for sugarcane, which was explored, and also for a kind of wood that gave the country its name, the Brazil wood. That was very good as a red dye for fabric. And that we are talking about the 16th century and the 17th century. After the independence, the country remained as one and not divided as the neighbors were. And that's why we are very big. So we are fundamentally a multi-ethnic country like this one. We are that. We are composed by many ethnic groups, and we are very proud of that. This diversity gives us strength, especially, well, not only in terms of the cohesion of the society, but also in terms of being a very vibrant, modern, and culturally exciting society.
Is it close to 200 million people?
200 million people.
Whoa.
Yes.
And you border on just about everybody, don't you? I mean,
Absolutely.
ocean, yes, but all these countries
Absolutely.
around, huh?
Except for two, Chile and Ecuador. All other countries in South America, we have borders with them.
And is most of the population in the cities or out
Most in the cities. We are a very urban country with all the problems that urbanization brings, but also with all the progress that it brings.
And the principal language, of course, is Portuguese.
It's Portuguese, the only one.
The only one.
Yeah.
Did the royalty,
except for, of course, some indigenous languages, and we also cherish that. But the main language would be Portuguese. Yes.
Did I read someplace that at one point the royalty from Portugal moved and set up shop?
Absolutely.
Set up shop there?
In the early 1800s, when Napoleon invaded the Iberian Peninsula. That's why the royal family traveled from Portugal to Brazil, and they set the empire in Brazil while Napoleon was there.
I thought that was good. But then people back home said, we shouldn't have royalty living abroad. So
that's true.
Come on home.
So they came back, and the king left his son in Brazil.
Yes.
Who proclaimed independence.
And is there a close relationship between Portugal and Brazil?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very close.
I would think so.
We are very good friends.
When they say a federated republic, what does that mean, federated?
It means that as here in the U.S., we have states.
Yeah, okay.
With governors.
Oh, so we're a federated republic as well, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
So it is a little bit different from here because legislation in Brazil is mainly applying to the whole country, and here you may vary from states to states.
Yes.
So there is a little bit difference there, but the system is very similar.
The president in your country has a lot of power.
Yes.
It's a female.
It's like here, yes,
woman.
President Dilma Rousseff.
She came here to the United States, didn't she?
Last year.
And had a meeting with President Obama?
Yes, it was an excellent meeting. It was about 1 month after I got here.
Oh, it's a nice opening for you.
It's a very nice opening, and frankly, talking about opening, this visit opened a lot of doors.
How so? Yeah.
We have cooperation, bilateral cooperation, in many areas. It is difficult to list them because they are so many. But let me address something that was, from my viewpoint, special. It was an understanding between the two countries on climate change. We signed a joint declaration on climate change. We created a bilateral group to work on that, but to work on concrete areas like energy, sustainable energy, like land use, forests, sustainability. So we are very happy that we could have this very successful visit here last year, and we are putting in place everything that was agreed to by both presidents. So I have a lot of work now.
There has been a period of time where the United States has been focused in Iraq, Afghanistan, that part of the world, and my understanding, I think, is correct, that during that period of time, South America, Latin America started to be less dependent upon the United States, more independent in setting up relationships with other countries. Does that ring true with your understanding?
Well, let me say that when you're not a problem, you're not on the news.
Yeah,
right?
There's some truth to that, yes.
So
but how do you mean that? Tell me that.
It is somehow perceived that when a region like my own, like Latin America, does not live through difficulties, or I mean, there's no crisis, democracy is strong, and so on. Well, okay, this is fine. So let's address the problems we have elsewhere, and that's the background, I think, to what you said. That sometimes it feels that the eyes are turned to other areas of the world and not to Latin America.
For better or worse.
For better
or worse. And now there is some refocus on South America as being so important to the success of the United States as well. What drives the economy within Brazil?
Well, first of all, I would like to agree with you that we are great partners. And
good relationship.
Oh yes,
Brazil and the United States.
Yes. And also in terms of trade and investments. But talking about trade and talking about what we do internally in the country, we do basically everything. We are big exporters of commodities, but also big exporters of capital goods, of machinery, of for instance, if you travel in this country, if you take a plane and you are served some fruit, probably the fruit is not from Brazil, but the plane is. Probably.
The plane is.
Yes. We have a very dynamic industry in this area of regional planes, not the big ones, but regional planes.
Okay.
That are those that I usually fly from here to New York, or to other cities. They are usually Brazilian planes.
So, if I understand, planes, automobiles.
Yes.
Of course, when you say commodities, you're going to have to be thinking of coffee.
Well, soy, sugar, coffee, and other, iron. And,
iron ore, yeah.
Yes, and many, but and of course we sell a lot of agricultural products like beef, poultry, We are big exporters in this area and leaders, and that's why during the visit by President Dilma, both countries agreed to a number of things in this area, because both the U.S. and Brazil are two global leaders in the areas of food, basically.
People read in the newspaper or see on television occasionally some references to investigations and scandals and things like that. And your response is yes, but democracy is working.
Yes, democracy is working, and this is a clear proof that we have very strong democratic institutions. The police works, the judiciary system works. Everything is functioning without any kind of pressure by anyone.
So when you look at the economy, which is struggling, and also some of these investigations,
which is recovering.
Recovering.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to cloak the first part of my question with the idea of so what would you say is the good news? The good news.
The good news is that, well, we still have, in terms of the economy, we do have the fundamentals. We have large external reserves. We have $370 billion, which is not small at all. We still have comparatively low unemployment rates, which is now around 7%, which is much lower than you will see elsewhere in the world. The economy is working. Of course, we are. I am not going to sugarcoat it. We are going through a period of recovery, and we are applying the economic measures that are necessary for that. But we are there, and we are open for business.
That's a very nice note to end on. We thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for joining us today, giving us an education about this very important country. And I would be remiss if I did not say summertime, the Olympics, right?
Yes, which there will be wintertime. But wintertime with very benign weather.
Okay.
But this also may have an influence on the mosquito issue, because during winter you will probably see much less of that problem, and certainly with the measures that the government is taking. So hopefully everything will be great.
205 countries, thousands of athletes.
About 25,000 athletes.
Big time.
Yeah,
for
500,000 people visiting Rio. We are very happy about that, because we like to organize huge events. We had the Soccer World Cup recently.
Yes.
Which was, as you know, a huge success. And, well, we know how to do it. And we take all the precautions, the precaution on issues like the safety of visitors. By the way, there is no need for a visa for an American citizen going to the Olympics in Rio, and this is a good thing. So let's be sure that we will have an excellent time there. Wonderful games. Games are about passion and surmounting difficulties and winning, of course.
Rooting for your country.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you.
You so much for your visit and your education.
Thank you.
For information about This Is America and the World and to watch all of our programs, visit our website, thisisamerica.net, and look for us on Facebook and Twitter. This Is America and the World is brought to you by the National Education Association, the U.S.-China Education Trust, and F.Y. Chang Foundation, guided by Ambassador Julia Chang Block, President. The League of Arab States, representing 350 million people in 22 member countries. Japan, history, hospitality, and advanced technology. Sharing tomorrow. Tourism, Malaysia. The Petrolin Group, expertise with integrity in the fields of oil and gas, exploration and production, energy, and infrastructure. The Rotondaro Family Trust. The Embassy Series, uniting people through musical diplomacy, presenting international artists in diplomatic settings. And Ventana Productions, television facilities, editing, and distribution services.